Buckaroo.
Yes. How is everybody doing tonight? Welcome to a Spork of Ice and Fire. I am Scott of Sporky News Podcast, and usually our Monday show, but I am getting over being sick and my kids giving me pink eye. Never had pink eye as an adult. I don't remember having pink eye as a child. It sucks. It really sucks, dirty little children. With us tonight, though, we have the lovely Miss Martin Muses. How are you?
Hey, I'm doing well, and gosh, you gave me flashbacks to being a teacher, because I can't tell you the amount of times I caught pink eye from the savages.
They are savages, just snots everywhere, just snots and stuff, and it daycare and school and all this. It just, I'm shocked they never got it before. It's kind of weird. But thank you for being here. We also have the fantastic Stig Kenobi.
Hi. I don't think I've had pink eye. I don't even know what it is.
Yeah. It sucks. That's what I'll tell you. It's like it's like a reddening, and I don't know if it's bacterial.
It's bacterial, and it's itchy, and it's really contagious. But the good news is when you get it, you can't come to school. So at least as a teacher, it's good. Sucks to be a parent. But you automatically have to go home and have to get a note from the doctor before you're allowed back. It's excellent.
Oh yeah.
Sporking. Do you know when a dad joke becomes a dad joke?
Wait a minute. A dad joke becomes a what joke?
When a dad joke becomes a dad joke.
When
the punchline is apparent.
I love it. Matt. That was good. That was when the punchline is apparent. That it makes it. Oh, bad takes. What are you doing? I'm stuck at work. Well, get home. So it sucks, but we do. We have a great show, and we're gonna be going back to Monday night next week. Tomorrow night, you can check me out on the Dark Council. I'll be with those guys. But the following week, we're gonna start having our anime show. Myself and Mr. Biggles Mets, and maybe a couple others that enjoy anime. And then we will also have on Saturdays will be our aluminum spork night, hopefully with the old dump crew like Mark with a C and Mads and other people who want to join. But we'll be changing it up hopefully next week. Going back to my normal work schedule might help. So I thank you all for the last few months dealing with me working too much. But we have some amazing people. We have Bone. Bone is one of my favorite. Haven't seen it in a bit, so it's always good to see you. Yeah, probably have lice too. You need hair for that, so it would be in my beard, I guess. Alex Moore. Yeah, right? Ugh.
Or somewhere else.
Comb. Yeah. Oh. Yeah, maybe. Pink eye sucks. Yes, sir, Alex. It does. Shane is in the house. Good to see you, Shane. And then we also have Bad Takes is conjunctivitising. And Miss Martin Muses just saying hey to everybody. So as people come in, remember to like, subscribe, and all that good stuff. Miss Martin Muses, congratulations on 1,000. You're over the 1,000 mark on YouTube, and that is awesome to hear. How did that happen? You were on Ryan's show?
Well, no, actually, I was in the chat, and Ryan just very generously, unprompted, said, "Hey, she's almost there." He'd been on my show, so we had talked a little bit about it, and he said, "Everyone, get her over the edge." And within like 10 seconds, I was not just past 1,000, but well past 1,000. So
it's awesome.
Very grateful to him, but I don't want to discount everyone else who the past few weeks has really been going hard for me. They've been retweeting it, they've been telling people, they've been coming on my channel, and now I just need some hours. So I'm just grateful to everyone. But yes, that and I want to share that about Ryan mainly because he didn't have to do that.
No, Ryan's a good dude.
And that just says about 1,000 things about him. This man's nearly at 300,000 subs and hasn't changed a lick.
Not at all. Actually, I actually think he's actually gotten nicer. He plays, he does his YouTube thing, but in person, getting to meet him, he's one of the nicer people I've met in the fandom. One of those people that, like, you see the nice guy and they're sometimes dicks. He's the exact opposite. Good dude. So Bone, I'm sorry, Parrot Head, I'm shilling hard. Yeah, so we're going to be talking tonight. First off, next week, we were going to start this week, but we're giving people like Stig and some others some time, and I'm going to rebrush through it too. We're going to start Fire and Blood, getting ready for House of the Dragon Season 2. We're going to get up and through at least the dance, and then we're going to most likely do a couple episodes, maybe a couple weeks, a month of rewatch of Season 1, because I believe the premiere date for House of the Dragon now is in June. I think Variety may have said that. I thought it was going to be in July, but I believe at the end of June it'll start. So that isn't too far away. I'm kind of excited to see where they're going to go with it, because it gets gory right off the rip where they left off. So we'll see.
Everything I've seen so far sounds really, really cool. I've cheated. I've been watching some of the spy pictures that I know that,
hard not to.
We don't want to get you in trouble, but
yeah,
it looks awesome. And it sounds like what we were talking about last week. It's kind of confirmed, or the week before, that Rook's Rest is going to be a huge part. And I think that's where it's going to end. And that is going to be great. And then if they keep focusing on the badass battles and things like Blood and Cheese, stick with that, it's going to be amazing.
Because you know what? You already, like, they don't have to do the female empowerment crap because it's already in the show. It's already, I mean, the book, you have some very powerful women, not just, like Rhaenyra and Alicent, but you also have like the White Worm, and others that do, like, they're powerful women that make things happen. So like the idea that you have to even dive deeper into that is ridiculous. And that's when you have a good story. Like I watched, I went and saw Dune 2, and I'm not going to spoil it for people. I rarely get to go see movies, so I was excited. Left work a little early on a Saturday and caught it. But I have to say it stuck, at least what I know of Dune. I've never read, but I've watched like any show that was involved with Dune. And it sticks with that Messiah, anti-Messiah, Messiah complex, false Messiah, like storyline, and doesn't, diverge from who is the main character of the show or of the movie. Like who is the focal point. I was worried that they were going to be like, girl power, we're going to beat this guy, like something stupid like that. So I'm glad to see that movies, books, series, we're going back to just tell the damn story. Just tell the story. We'll figure it out. We're smart enough to understand,
Yep.
But tonight, were you going to say something?
Oh, I was just agreeing with you.
I like hearing that. That's always good. Tonight we're gonna go over the first theory of the night. I saw it on Reddit, and we've talked about this. I don't know if we've actually went with the same thing this guy was going with, but the idea that Bloodraven is just using Bran. We've talked about how, like, if the so-called George gave Dan and Dave the cliff notes and the important points, and Bran the Broken has the best story, so he'll be the king. We always talked about on this channel that if that does happen in the books, it will probably be like Bran has been taken over by Bloodraven or the Weirwood Net, and it's no longer Bran, and they're using him to control mankind, something to that effect. But this guy goes into, and the person's post name is, my name is Mr. Guy Person. And his idea is that Bran is not even a Greenseer. He was tricked into believing he's a Greenseer. And I found this theory to be pretty interesting.
Well, you know what? Only the first book, though, is, or rather the first book is Game of Thrones. That's about the throne. But if you think about it, the first conflict in the book is the White Walkers. That's the threat.
Right.
And Ned starts to learn about it when he executes the guy, and then gets distracted by the throne stuff.
By the politics.
Yes, the politics it's a red herring.
Yeah.
Because it's not the story is not Game of Thrones. That's just book one.
It's just
so and Melisandre reminds us that the real threat is in the north.
Yes.
And people are distracted from it. So
yeah,
who sits on the throne in the end, if any,
right,
is actually kind of irrelevant, because that's not really what the story's about.
Right. Do you believe he's going with the idea of Return of the King, where there was the major battle, the destroying of the ring, and then after that you get the Shire, all the things that happen in the Shire? Do you think that's how this will be? The major threat is the White Walkers, and then afterwards you get that little bit of political, let's clean this up and figure out who's in charge.
George Martin said the ending would be bittersweet, and he said he had envisioned a bunch of gravestones covered in snow. So I think the Children of the Forest are going to win, because it'll be a message that nature wins.
Yeah. Yes, it's called the Scoring of the Shire. I thought I was going to say it wrong for
Scouring.
Thank you.
That's
okay. It isn't the scoring. I thought I was going to say scouring wrong, and when he put that, I was like, oh, maybe I was wrong. So, scouring of the Shire.
Stupid autocorrect. Well, you know what, Steve? I think that's a very good point. And in that context, Bran becoming the king, if that's the case, it won't be as ridiculous, because it's not even an issue at that point.
And it'll barely be Bran, because the stuff he's doing, with the crow he sees in his dreams and stuff.
Yeah.
And he's being pushed to basically commit abominations.
Yes.
Right?
All the abominations of Warging. Yes.
It reeks of demonic stuff.
Yes.
So if Bran is somehow ruling Westeros in the end, it's not going to be a good thing.
No.
Whatsoever. It's going to have it's like Damien from The Omen, right?
Right. I mean, read the and I'll try to find it, but you read the quote when Bran takes over Hodor. It's terrible. Hodor cowers in a corner. He just goes away and hides in a corner because he terrified, not knowing what's going on, because Bran's
Bran is
he's mind graping him. He's mind graping him.
Yeah, you know what I mean? He's violating him to the soul.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. And violating someone's soul, they're taking away their free will. That's one of the most demonic things a person can do.
Right. Yeah. It's pretty much possession.
Yeah.
What you said, Scott, reminded me of someone doing an edit of the end of the TV show that solved everything. That just as Bran's being wheeled away, you just see his eyes, and it's
yes,
Night King eyes, and he's and then suddenly the ending doesn't suck.
Right.
You just realize, oh, okay, that's what was really going on.
Give me those eyes, something
exactly,
weird like that. Yeah, that
it's
would be
that's
very
the
cool.
end. And so they realize that he's bad. Now that would be a badass ending.
Yes, it would. Let me find that quote real quick because the way he writes it even makes it sound worse. Like it's so nonchalant for Bran. But
And
it's like terrible.
Keep in mind that Jojen is probably in that paste that they had Bran eat, which means cannibalism, and
Right.
cannibalism for power.
Yes. Yes. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, Mason's in the house. How you doing, buddy?
Hey.
Oh, we can barely hear
Can't
you.
hear
You
ya.
sound like you're really far away from your mic. You might have to find a way to turn that up, buddy. But work on it. Well, once you just bark through when you got us. But you're here. Good to see you, Mason from Free Folk of the Fandom. Make sure you guys check him out. We have Shane saying, remember Mel has a vision of Bran and Bloodraven senses evil. Yes. Yes. So I don't have that exact quote, but let's not forget the quote with Old Nan. Old Nan just says, don't listen to it when a crow is in the window, or he's telling her about his dreams and stuff. Don't listen to it. Crows are liars. I know a story about a crow. And Bran says, I hate those stories. So she gives him that other story. Oh, my sweet summer child story. But like, I would have loved to hear the story of the crow.
Well, maybe that is the same damn story.
Or it could be the story we find out, like there, I don't think it's the same. Well, like the, oh, my sweet summer child story about the fear in the woods and the winter.
Yeah. Cause the crows started it.
Yeah. Well, I could see that, but I feel like Bran. So, okay. This is another thing I noticed. Like a lot of us, okay. Hodor has, Duncan the Tall, bloodline, we believe. And a lot of us believe it's from Old Nan having, her son, and then Hodor's parent is from there. But it goes on to say, don't listen to it. Crows are liars. I know a story about a crow. I hate your stories. I know a story about a boy who hated stories. I could tell you about Sir Duncan the Tall. Those were always your favorite. Those aren't my favorite. But she brings up Duncan the Tall. And I never remembered that until I just read it before. Like, she actually talks about Duncan the Tall. Like, that's the story she wants to also, like, you remember, you used to love these stories, but I wonder if that's another little, hey, nod to Hodor's,
or maybe it's
grandfather.
Or maybe it's her telling you, hey, you need to remember who you were.
Yeah. Yeah. So, I'll get into this guy's theory. I find it pretty interesting, and I'll read it. You know what? I'll just put it up. God. Sometimes, like I'm getting over this pink eye, but like it makes it like kind of fuzzy to see things. Man, that sucks. Let me blow this up a little bit more for you guys and myself because I can't see anything. There we go.
All right.
Okay, so
does this sound any better?
It sounds way better, man.
All right.
Way better. Yeah, Mason, welcome to the party. How are you, sir?
I'm doing pretty good. I'm gonna have to leave at like almost 7:30ish, so probably like 7:20 or so. But I'm here for a little bit.
All right, man. Well,
I
just
might be
about
able
to
to
get
hop
into
back
it.
in.
Yeah, no worries,
Yeah.
man. We're just about to get into it anyway, so let's check it out. So this person goes on to say, I think a lot of readers have gone with the assumption that Bloodraven, the last Greenseer, is on his way out and needs someone to take over the helm at the Weir Net before he fades completely into the trees. Bran, being the Greenseer, an amazingly powerful ward capable of warging another human, is the logical choice. I'll just come out and say it. I don't buy it at all. I don't think Bran is a Greenseer, and I think he's got duped into coming north of the wall. Best of all, I think we were warned in a Game of Thrones. So I went past this to read some of the people's comments, and you could tell they didn't read this guy's theory because he does have some valid points. So before
Bloodraven is obviously not the last Greenseer because Jojen is one too.
Right. And how is Jojen described? He's described as
He's wearing green and his eyes are green, I think. And
yes,
it's green.
Yes, and he kind of can get like a little. He's very weak and gets sick because there is a quote, and I think this guy might even talk about it later on. There's a quote where they talk about Greenseers, and Greenseers either have red or green eyes. Children of the Forest they're talking about. Red or green eyes, and they have green dreams, and they're like, there's 1 in 1,000 or 1 in 10,000 is a warg, 1 in 10,000 wargs is a Greenseer. And they talk about how they either have green or red eyes. Now, Bloodraven, albino. He doesn't seem to be sickly, but albinoism is a genetic flaw, I guess. I'm not being an ableist or anything, just I believe so. But he has the red eyes of a Greenseer. Jojen always talking about the color of his eyes, and the guy goes into it right here. The big thing with Bran, though, what color are Bran's eyes?
Blue.
Yeah. So, I mean, they never say a Greenseer has different color eyes than green or red, and usually they're green, right? Usually they're green eyes. But he has blue eyes. So that was one of the things I never even thought about until, and you know what, Stig, you might have brought this up a long time ago, because the minute the guy said it, I heard your voice saying it too. So you might have brought this up a long time ago when we were talking about Bran. But yeah, he has blue eyes compared to any description you ever hear of a Greenseer.
I actually noticed that because I've been rereading the book, and I think it was Catelyn was talking about how all the kids.
Yep.
Yeah, but Jon Snow looks very Stark.
Yep.
And he can warg as well, which all the Stark kids have a connection to the wolves, including Jon.
Yes.
Which, big hint, Jon actually is a Stark.
Yes. Yeah, he is. Definitely.
He is Ned's
nephew.
Yeah.
Right. So he is a Stark. He just is also Targaryen.
Ned's son.
Or it could be Ned's son. Yeah. So who do you think it would be? Ned and Ashara?
Yeah.
Yeah, it could be.
Because that was mentioned Ashara was mentioned right off the bat.
Right.
In the first Catelyn chapter. And Ned got pissed.
Real pissed.
And he wanted to know where she had learned that name.
Yeah. Oh, what's up? Blue Seer. Mike has bad knees. What's up, my man? That is a great avatar. Yeah, Blue Seer. He's a Blue Seer, whatever the hell that means. And yes, they are often unhealthy. Now, is Bran unhealthy? No. Bran is, well, we'll go with the eyes first. So you go with Jojen. They always talk about them either being blood red or green. The chosen ones are not robust. Their quick years upon the earth are few, for every song must have its balance. Yet they're talking about the children of the forest, but I would believe that also goes for the Greenseers we see. Now, who is somebody who, like, look at Jojen. He starts, the minute his job is done, he seems to start withering away. But who does the exact opposite? Who goes against nature? Bloodraven. I don't think this guy puts that in there, but Bloodraven lives way past his years by combining his body with the weirwood. I mean, we don't even know if that is even Bloodraven anymore. You know what I mean? Like, they're just using his husk. You
know what else? In the prologue, book 1, the White Walkers hesitates when they notice Waymar Joyce, because he looks like a Stark.
Well, he looks just like Jon.
Yeah.
Not so just a Stark, he looks like Jon.
Yeah. They hesitate.
Yes, because they think it's him.
Yeah. Well, and now the children of the forest have a Stark.
Yes. Yes.
So there's something about the Starks versus the White Walkers.
And did you notice the minute he drew his sword, they also froze? So they're looking for Stark, and they're looking for some magical sword. We'll get into that later, because me and you were talking about that offline, and I agree with you 100%, and I have my reasons too. That'll be our next theory. We're going to finish this one first, though, because I love that theory too. So, and I see what you're saying there, Shane, but he's disabled, but he's not sickly. He fell. He was a very active kid, climber. He fell, he broke his back or whatever, and was near death, but he's not sickly. Even after he's not sickly, it's just that he has no use of his legs anymore.
He has an injury.
He has an injury.
You can have perfect physical health, even though your legs don't work.
Absolutely. So with the other guys here, Mason, what do you think about this so far?
So this is really making me think about the theory that the Night's Watch was a like they were meant to be the border between men and the others. Like they were
Mm-hmm.
there to give the sacrifices, kind of like
Right.
how Craster sacrifices his kids.
Yep. Yep. And the
And
Night's King, the Night, not the
yeah,
Night King from the show, but the Night's King. Yep.
yeah, it's kind of making me think like how that would fit into that, and it kind of fits pretty well.
Yeah. No, that's a good point. You don't believe all crows are liars. Old Nan doesn't lie. Crows lie. And we also factor into this. I still don't believe the three-eyed crow is Bloodraven in the dreams. In the
No.
dreams, and we'll get to the dreams too, because that's another thing about Greenseers. They have green dreams, correct? We see Jojen having green dreams, explaining what green dreams are to Bran. Bran never had a green dream. He had wolf dreams, and after his accident, he had forced dreams on him from other outside people, but he didn't have the actual green dream. To me, there's a big difference from somebody sending you telepathic messages through your dreams than having a Greenseer dream. Does that make sense?
Wasn't one of the dreams one where he was basically talking to Bloodraven and the crow
Yes.
disrupted the dream. So definitely there's two entities.
Yeah, they were both in the dream at that one time. One of the last ones he has. Yeah, there's the Weirwood, and the Weirwood is definitely Raven. I mean, it goes to show it's white, it's red.
Bloodraven is a Targaryen.
Yeah,
and the other thing seems to be something that has to do with ice. So fire and ice.
Fire and ice.
Battling for Bran.
Yes.
In a way, maybe. I don't know.
And also when Bran goes to meet him for the first time and he asks Leaf and Bloodraven, "Are you the three-eyed crow?" Neither one understands what he means, and they go off on a different answer. So like Bloodraven says, "I've been called many things." Like he's talking about being a black brother, not being the three-eyed crow. So like I really think people let that just, oh no, that's not it. That's not it. I think George I think George is playing us, and the three-eyed crow is somebody or something completely different. This is one I really liked. So another reason Bran is not a Greenseer, Warging made easy. So like you were saying, the book makes it very clear that Stark children have a deep connection to their wolves, including wolf dreams. It seems like all a Stark requires is a bond with a direwolf for their warging abilities to manifest. The direwolf is their sigil, after all, and the history. He doesn't put it in there, but the history of the Starks is the defeat of the Warg Queen, killing his sons and taking his daughters to bed, bringing that bloodline into their own, caused them to become wargs. So the only difference is Bran had people telling him he wargs in his dreams, people telling him he could do these things with Jojen and his sister. But the others are not, they're figuring it out as they go. We see Arya warging, and they're trying to say, oh, but he can warg other things like Hodor and this and that. Well, Arya wargs a cat. That's not warging. That's skin changing. So do all the Starks have that capability? It might be, but they're just very comfortable warging into a bonded direwolf. Does that make sense too? Like, I don't know if he doesn't bring this up or this person doesn't, but I think that's an important fact that people miss. Everyone thinks, oh, warging is just direwolves. All the rest of them could do that, but he's special. Well, then how does she warg a cat when she's, the blind girl in Bravo? She uses a cat's eyes. So that's not warging, that's skin changing. So are we being lied to that what warging really is? Because Varamir Sixskins is a skin changer. He's not a warger. Warging is just a direwolf. So I'm wondering if something with the Starks is they always stuck with direwolves, but they could actually do more.
You know what else? As they get closer to Bloodraven's cave, and especially in it, Jojen gets more and more depressed, and he sticks to himself.
That's
so
yeah.
I was kind of thinking maybe he realizes that we walked into a trap. We're screwed.
See, I'm with you on that, or is it that he, even being a Greenseer, he's a Greenseer being controlled by the Children of the Forest to the point where he is so stoic, so pinpoint on what his plan is, what his mission is to get Bran to the cave. And when they get to the cave, it's like almost like he's not a Greenseer anymore. He just turns into this little kid wanting to go home. Did they manipulate him into believing he was more than what he really was? I find it hard to believe because his dad, had the green sight also, Howland Reed, but like his dad also spent time on the Isle of Faces, and with the Isle of Faces, that could have changed him where he could be like, I'm sacrificing my son because this is more important. I don't know. Like, is Howland Reed still a good guy? I'm trying to figure that out.
You know what struck me, connected to what we were speaking about last week? Remember that there was something perhaps that Ned wanted to hide from what happened at the Tower of Joy that had nothing to do with the parentage of Jon Snow. And that, could it be that this is all connected to all of this? That was what was revealed, and that is why Ned Stark was so reluctant to take those 5 little dire wolves. He's like, no, just let them die. And they were like, no, puppies. That's why he was so insistent on letting the dire wolves die. He was trying to keep what he learned at the Tower of Joy from coming true.
It could, that could definitely be it. And also, don't forget, like, it was the direwolf mother was dead, intertwined with a stag, but it looked like there might have been something else that caused the injury to the stag. Like, so the stag, the house sigil of the Baratheons, dead, and the house sigil of the Starks, dead. And then
it's basically a stag cutting a wolf's neck.
Yeah,
in a way, which is Joffrey and Ned.
Yeah, but
foreshadowing, but
on a deeper level,
with what
the dead mother with the children. So maybe Lyanna didn't die in childbirth. Maybe she was murdered, and he still took the child to save it.
Like there could be the only reason they would ever fight is if he thought they weren't there protecting his sister. You know what I mean? Like, let's get away from, because our theory is that something else went down and there was handshakes and people lived. But let's say they didn't, and it really was a battle where only 2 survived. It would have to be because they were doing something else. Now, let's not forget, their prince just died, but their prince was, he was like, anybody who becomes obsessed with these prophecies does stupid things. Look at Egg set wildfire, and even if the Maesters had something to do with it, he was using wildfire to try to bring dragons back to life because he believed that's what it was, when really it was the birth of Rhaegar he was foreseeing. Let's say Rhaegar actually, like, no matter what, we're going to do some weird ceremony and get this child out of her. Living or not, this baby is going to be born, and they might have been doing some freaky deaky stuff to try to, and that's why Ned fought and there was no conversation, because what we hear of the conversation is what we hear in the fever dreams, I believe. So we can't take that to be the truth. I don't know. That's a deeper meaning than with the mother dead and the baby's still alive like that. And then the one by itself too, that no one can hear, except for Jon Snow. And is that him actually hearing his wolf, or was that the children of the forest talking through the leaves telling him, Ghost is over here? Because if you read that part, John makes sure to tell them, this is the house sigil of your family, and there are 2 males or 3 males and 2 female dire wolves, the same as your children. I think it's a sign from the gods. And then they walk away, and they're literally on a bridge going away, and he hears Ghost, but Ghost never makes sounds. So like what brought him back to that too?
Connection.
And also that's another hint that John is a Stark, because I think the wolf on the Stark sigil is white.
It is gray on a blue field, or hold on one second.
Yeah,
everybody Google. Well, and think about the name Ghost. Ghost, yes. Who's the ghost that's behind all of this? Liana.
Ooh, yeah.
Or that's where the ghost of Jon Snow ends up when he's dead.
In Ghost.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I mean that definitely. Yeah, go ahead, buddy.
So I think it was Gary from Nerdrotic was talking about it on one of his streams.
A big fan of my channel. Thank you, Gary.
And he's talking about it and saying that like there's hints throughout the story about like it being a time travel story, and like this is the second go around, like someone's already time traveled and probably being Bran, and like put in the hints. So like Bran talking to like get John to go get Ghost, and I think that Bran was looking through the tree when like Theon goes to the Weirwood in A Dance with Dragons, and he's like crying, wanting to die. He hears the thing saying his name.
Yep. And you also have when Ned is cleaning his sword in front of the Weirwood tree near that pool. There is definitely that Bran time travel theory where he is just doing it's a loop almost. It's just a loop of Bran. He caused the Mad King to go crazy. I mean, there's so many theories about this. He's actually Bran the Builder. Like there's a lot. I mean, you never know.
Well, I remember that was a major theory from the TV show because he looked so much like he could have been like physically the Night King. So that's what people that I know that had read the books thought that's where they were telling me, well, that's where the book seems to be headed. That's a theory about the whole time travel, but wasn't the key moment though, as we know, that turned Bran into that whole supernatural thing was from a tower. Just seeing those words here on the tower. What happened?
Oh yeah,
Tower of Joy. So towers.
Towers have something. I never thought of that. He got pushed from a tower, and it fell down. Took the tower. Like the tower falling down. So towers do. I mean, George doesn't lightly put things in. He could have used some other term. I never thought of that. Now,
I just really quickly the library tower is on fire. It's burning down.
Oh yeah. Yep. So you got the library tower on fire, the hands tower,
and
a lot of things happen there.
He's hiding in the tower when he wargs into when they're hiding.
Yeah, when John and the free folk go by.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Damn.
There's a lot of towers, but
he fell from the broken tower. That's true. It was called the Broken Tower.
And Bran the Broken.
Yep. This is Shane's going back here. This is one when we were talking about Jojen. I thought maybe he had been groomed from infancy to do that job and die his mission. And it really could be. It could be his father was after the look. I don't know people that casually read the book, like read the series, but not like all the histories and stuff. Like the idea that Howland Reed was allowed to set foot on the Isle of Faces, which is in the God's Eye. So the God's Eye is a lake that is pretty much dead center Westeros. It's like right there, dead center Westeros. And it has an island on there. And that's where the pact between the First Men and the Children of the Forest happened, so-called happened, where they, the Children of the Forest got the deep woods and something else, and man got really everything else. Man scored huge on this deal, which I believe this pack was bullshit and a setup. But he's the first person in recorded time, really, in memory, that people could say actually set foot on the Isle of Faces. No one else has, that we know of. In at least 300 years of the Targaryen reign, no one has set foot. So that means something. Those weirwood trees are some of the oldest in Westeros. They have just the memory of the continent. So, like, what he learned there might have changed who he was and what happened at the Tower of Joy, how he met Lyanna, saving him from those squires. Like, all this stuff he could have just been setting up himself. You know, we could find out that Howland Reed was the three-eyed crow.
You know what else is kind of curious? When Ned executes the Night Watch traitor.
Yeah.
If the guy is yapping about the others and all kinds of stuff, why the hell didn't Ned interrogate him a bit? He just shows up and chops off his head immediately.
Yeah.
Which is kind of like, that sounds like he's silencing him.
Yes. And Ned, doesn't Ned use like an excuse, like men say things, you know, like to
that's
stall, or is that
no?
The show?
That's in the show. In
Okay.
the books, in the book, he doesn't say anything. It's just
that's even worse.
Just makes the kids watch.
Yeah.
Nobody had seen anything, any of the like White Walkers or the others, or even giants or anything like that in like 1,000 years. Is that right?
At least. Yeah, I would say.
So like it's not like Ned has any reason to believe him.
Yeah.
And he does talk to Benjen about it. I think that's
but see,
Benjen, he does in the show.
He doesn't talk to him about it in the book. Because I'm thinking Ned already knows what the hell's going on up there.
He may.
And he silences the guy to keep it from getting out.
I mean, did he learn it at the Tower of Joy? There's a lot, dude. The Tower of Joy. There's like two major things that happened, and not even just in the a Game of Thrones novels, but like even going back, Summerhall and the Tower of Joy. I just need to know what happened in those two things, like really detailed what happened, for me to be like, okay, I'm at peace with whatever happens with these books. Because if he doesn't answer the Tower of Joy, I'm going to lose my ever-loving mind, because there's so many good theories, and he might just say, screw you. I'm not going to tell you because that's George for you. But
you have to have a survivor that can tell the story. The only one left is, well, it could be Arthur Dane if he's Mance Rayder, but you have Howland Reed.
Yep.
I think a lot of stuff will be revealed if he makes it onto the screen.
Yeah, and that's why he's been held back for so long. So I want to go back to the warging thing real quick. So for Greenseers, with their capability of, I believe all Greenseers can skin change. So again, warging, I think Lodanis Dragonstorm over here asked the question, where is it, man? He said, what's the difference between warging and skin changing? And I don't know if you were here when I said it, but warging is only direwolves. Maybe wolves, but definitely just direwolves and wolves.
Well, warg is a Scandinavian name for a big wolf.
Yeah. Now,
and Tolkien used it too. Yeah.
Isn't that what the orcs wrote in on, were wargs?
Yeah.
Okay, that's what I thought. Yeah, so a warg's a big wolf, a dire wolf. Skin changing is actually other animals also. And one of the taboo things to do is to try to warg into a person, but you would have to be a very powerful skin changer or greenseer to do that. Now, that's where people point to with Bran. Well, look what he did with Hodor. Okay, Hodor is a different thing altogether. We also saw a skin changer, a very powerful skin changer, Varamir Sixskins tried to warg into a woman and he wasn't capable of. And that's why people are like, that's why Bran's a Greenseer. He's more powerful. Well, let's take the two moments. Bran, you know, granted he doesn't have his legs, but healthy, you know, and Hodor, someone who Hodor trusts Bran. It's like almost like Bran's his master. And Hodor is a simpleton. You know, he trusts Bran. And even when Bran wargs into him, all Hodor does is go and hide. He fought a little bit, but then he just goes and hides in a dark place. It's terrible, actually. But when you talk about Varamir Sixskins, he was like on the verge of death, trying to warg into a wildling woman who's healthy and strong-minded and not friendly with him, and he's trying to take over her mind. Well, yeah, and he almost does it too, but she's able to bite her tongue off and kick him out pretty much. So,
well, he's like, he's also completely desperate because he's dying.
Yes,
which would probably add to his willpower,
right?
You know, pure survival instinct. Which, and then Bran does it easily with Grand Hodor's on the. He's probably not the strongest mind in Westeros, right?
Right, and it's not just that he's
but still,
he's trusting.
Yeah, but Bran is also a kid,
right?
You know, so there's definitely something special about Bran's abilities, and I think it had to do with what the Crow did to his, his third eye thing.
Well, and I'll give you that, like forcing him to open it, but I still believe that Bran is, because he's a kid, doesn't realize, like, there's not anything else going into it. Like, this is taboo. I'm going to work Hodor because I want to walk around, I want to have a bot. Like, it's a little different. Like, it's someone who, trusts Bran. And even then, he tries to fight it a bit. But I don't think Bran could just jump into Mira. I think she would kick him right out. You know what I mean? Like, I know he's strong, but I don't think he is. Like, Varamir Sixskins, like, I think if he was healthy and had someone who trusts him, like Hodor trusts Bran, he would be able to warg into a person. It's just a very taboo thing to do and dangerous. I think the setup for Bran was much easier in it. And going back to the time traveling thing, if that's true, they forced him to do that to Hodor so he could do that in the present. They forced him to break Hodor in the past so he could do that in the present. And I think that's something that we're going to find out. Oh, man, you heard it here first.
I'm hoping there's no time travel.
Mm-mm.
More,
conscious.
Seeing the past.
Yeah.
Rather than, traveling, because time travel can go south so damn fast.
Real quick.
It's pretty much just Back to the Future has done it well.
Yeah. Some of the ones that do, like, I gotta say, it's not the best movie, but Days of Future Present, where they do like a consciousness time travel. Like, that makes sense. But like, again, Bran,
like, he's retroactively warging into people.
Yeah,
which would have driven the Mad King mad if it was doing it to him. But
yeah, right.
You know what though? I'm pretty bloody certain that Bran is going to warg into undead Clegane, because he had a vision of that empty helmet.
Ooh.
And then, if he uses Clegane to choke Cersei, then that prophecy will
come true.
Yeah.
That is good. We got a question.
Because actually, Bran can actually wipe out the whole damn throne room, but by warging into undead Clegane.
Yeah. So we got a question here from the good Dragonstorm himself. He says, question for the panel. I only watched the show. For me, it didn't seem right for Bran to become king. What did you all think of that choice? Who do you all think should be king in the books? That's a very long and deep question, but I don't mind attacking a little bit of it. The way Bran became king in the show was ridiculous. I don't know. I think I heard Mason say it's the greatest ending.
Yeah, it doesn't even make sense because they just appointed themselves to be like some kind of council. And yeah, we're voting for Bran, and I'm thinking, there's all kinds of people that are next in line for the thrones. Surely they're gonna,
it's
disagree.
Like
just legitimize Gendry.
Yeah, right. I mean, he is a Baratheon by blood. What do you think, Teresa?
Well, yeah. I think we all thought it was ridiculous, especially because randomly, someone has a good story, so let's make that person the king. And it's like, okay, now I think that they pulled that out of their butts because we do know that stories are important to the overall supernatural part of it because of Nan. Like Nan and her stories mean something. But as far as what you say, I immediately remember thinking, well, they're all planning for civil war as they're speaking.
Right.
Yeah. So I'd like, even with Bran still alive, look what happened.
I was shocked.
It was ridiculous. It was stupid. It came out of nowhere. There was no reason to it. And the whole idea that they would vote on it, because we saw what happened with the Dance of the Dragons. That there's a reason why what happened after the Dance of the Dragons, they were like, okay, this is how this whole succession is going to be going down from here on out. And like was already set. Even if you're using the Targaryen line, well, then there's plenty. There's uncles, there's cousins, there's brothers.
Yep.
Like it's just ridiculous. But Dan and Dave, as we now know, went totally off the deep end to begin with. So
they were already
basically everything after season 4 is poorly written fan fiction.
It is.
Season 8 gets all the stick, but everything was set up in season 5, 6, and 7 for season 8.
Yeah.
But as for the who gets to sit on the throne, I'm pretty sure it doesn't matter because the throne is a distraction.
Yeah.
It's about the end of the world via dragons and especially White Walkers and during the winter. It's Ragnarok. A long winter is Ragnarok. It's right there in the Norse mythology.
Yeah. Mason, you were going to say something, buddy?
Yeah, so there's a quote from the Fire Cannot Kill a Dragon book, which is like from the producers talking about all the things that George gave them on the making of the Game of Thrones show.
Right.
And it says, like, almost exactly, George says it very vaguely, that he told them who was going to be king, and then it says specifically that he told them that Stannis burning Shireen was one of the things he told him from the book, and the hold the door Hodor thing was
that's from interviews with them. Stannis burning Shireen is actually impossible.
It's impossible. How does he do it?
Yeah, because she is at the wall, and he's about to attack Winterfell. So, why would he? Is he going to go back and burn Shireen and then attack Winterfell?
It's logistically like a nightmare. Like I don't understand. Yeah, I think she'll get burned, but it's not going to be him. What do you think, Mason?
It's impossible right now, but what if he wins the Battle of Ice and then takes his victory party back up to the wall, and the storm gets like 10 times worse?
No, he would take over Winterfell.
Well, he's going to I don't know. He's going back up there to move Shireen and his wife back down to Winterfell, or I don't know, something like that.
I think he gave him a couple notes and was like, he's gonna burn her, and Bran.
Well, actually,
king.
Screw it. What?
But he specifically didn't tell him that Bran was going to be king. He told him who he wanted to be king at the end, and he didn't say it was Bran. That was the point of what I was saying.
I see what you're
go back
saying
to that.
There, you little crazy bastard. I got
you.
Also,
they actually didn't say Stannis was burning her. They said that being burned was her fate.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I need to look at.
Yeah, because they said when George told us of her fate, we were shocked. Blah blah blah.
Well, I gotta hop off right now.
Yeah,
Hopefully
no,
I
don't
can
don't
hop
hop
back
off
on.
because you're in. Don't be. It's okay, buddy. You're just wrong. No, just kidding. Thank you for being.
Well, no, he's not wrong. I mean, I just would be interested in reading the book because also those bastards, the way they word things, we learned later after the fact that they were using a lot of language that they thought made themselves so freaking clever. So yeah.
You know what else? The excerpt from book 5 when
hold on one second, because Mason he's at work, so he has to go. Mason, we love you, buddy. If you could jump back on and we're still live, jump back on. Guys, please check out Mason at Free Folk of the Fandom. If one of my mods could throw his link in there, I think it's in the description. Sure. No, I'm pretty sure it's in the description. But Mason, you have anything to say?
No, it's been fun talking with you guys. Yeah, hopefully I'll be back.
Yeah, brother. We love you, man. Thank you.
See you.
Bye.
All right. Thank you.
So, Stig, I'm sorry. What were you saying?
Yeah,
there?
and you know the one of the excerpts from book 5, one of Stannis's men are asking if they should sacrifice someone, right? Because it's cold and all that stuff.
Yep.
And Stannis just tells them, pray harder.
Yeah.
There's going to be no sacrifice.
He does not believe. I know, like, people, because the show really does make it seem like after he burns those leeches, he starts to believe. After he loses the battle and she's not there, he may lean into it even harder, but I don't think he believes in one God being able to make him win. I really think he plays everybody, you know?
Stannis just sees magic as a weapon. You know, if it works, it works.
Yep.
You know?
Yep, I'm with you. So I want to go back to this because the guy goes into something interesting right here. So back to Bran not being a Greenseer, he goes into the crypts. So what might be the purpose of such an endeavor, if not to find a new mage to take on the mantle of Greenseer and battle the others? Why Bran if he's just a warg? There's plenty of wargs beyond the wall, and those with green sight aren't uncommon among the Cranagman. Think about the Winterfell crypts. They are very distinct feature of life and death as a Stark. What is their real purpose? Edarch 1 from Game of Thrones. By ancient custom, an iron longsword had been laid across the lap of each who had been Lord of Winterfell to keep the vengeful spirits in their crypts.
Then you know what? I'm going to add to that because I've just started rereading book 1, and I made a note of this. The swords in the crypt are rusting. They make a point of that. They're crumbling, which means if the iron, which protects against the children of the forest, seemingly, if that's failing, maybe that is why Bran, when he's in a coma, is susceptible to vengeful spirits messing with his head.
Right.
That's just like, it's not a theory, but it's an observation.
It is. And I find it interesting. He does take a sword from the crypt. Like, will that help him for a certain amount? Does he still have that sword? I don't remember. Like, it could have been something that helps the children stay away from him. But we also have from A Dance with Dragons, the Turncloak, which is Theon's chapter. He had always heard that the iron in the sword kept the spirits of the dead locked within their tombs. The door to the crypts is even ironwood. What's oh God, feast? No, not a Feast of Crows. Clash of Kings. Bran 7. We learn from Varamir that in the moment before death, one has an out of the body experience. The spirit leaves the body. And they go on to explain the whole thing. So he talks about that he almost becomes something. He becomes everything. He becomes the leaves. He becomes the weirwood. He becomes the grass, the moon, all that stuff. So this guy goes on. We know that the others can raise the dead and hate iron. We also know that weirwoods can absorb the soul of the dead. I therefore believe that it's not a stretch to guess that the crypts act as a protective storehouse for the spirits of the dead Starks against supernatural forces like the others or the children of the forest. So it actually, what you were saying, the iron and the crypts keep them from being absorbed by the weirwood net, protecting the Stark line.
Maybe the children of the forest are kind of allergic to iron, in the same way that the others seem allergic to dragon glass. But because we know that the children of the forest can't work iron, they make a big point out of this, which is why the Hodor scene in Bloodraven's cave makes no sense, because they have a door with iron hinges.
Right.
Where the fuck did that door come from?
Right.
Right.
Right. Man, there's so much. The crypts, look, the part of the crypts we can't even get to because it collapsed. Like, this is their family, their family cemetery, but yet they never clear that out. Like, they never tried to get to the older ones to show respect. They just are like, it collapsed in that little area.
Well, maybe they collapsed it on purpose.
That's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking that, like, for some reason, because the older ones are lower. Like, and usually in a crypt, don't you go like oldest are at the top, and as you dig down into your crypt, the younger ones dead. The newer death is lower. Like they dug deep and put the oldest down there, and then worked their way back. Like that doesn't make sense either. Like usually with a crypt like this, you start one level and then you fill that up. Oh God, we got to go even lower and lower. But they went real low and started working their way back up to like, okay, now we run out of crypt space. Yeah, that's another thing that never made sense to me. Unless there's something down there that
Winterfell is built on top of something.
Well,
keep it plugged.
Yeah, well,
the Stark blood is what seals it.
Yes.
Hence why there must always be a Stark in Winterfell.
Yes, and that's another thing this guy brings up, and we'll get to that in a second. But also, let's not forget there are hot springs that warm the greenhouses in Winterfell, and why are there hot springs underneath them? Could it be, I don't know, a dragon down there? I don't know. It could be a dragon. We never know. But there are some other clues that this guy brings up, which I thought were pretty interesting. So what does this have to do with Bloodraven and Bran? Bloodraven has not only drawn away the last Stark from Winterfell, he's also brought a Stark to integrate within the weirwood net, something that can't usually happen because of the crypts. We've been reminded over and over of the power in King's blood. Bran has the blood of the old kings of winter. Not only is winter coming, but the Starks were profoundly tied to the mysteries surrounding the long night, from Bran the Builder to the Night's King. And let's not forget the story of the Night's King, because it took the king of the Beyond the Wall and the king of the North, which was a Stark, to team up to defeat him. So some believe that it could have been a Stark relative or someone from other side of the wall. So we don't know exactly, but they were probably sacrificing babies through that weird door under which castle is that? Not Castle Black, but the Night's Fort. Is it the Night's Fort?
Yeah, the Night Fort, which is also where the Night King's origin is in the legends in the book. He's actually not a character in the books at all, as far as we know so far.
Right. The Night's King was a human.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, he was a human that most likely was married to another.
Yeah. And this is why the show is so fucking dumb.
Yeah.
Because the Night King is the big bad villain, and then they show us his origin story that he's the first White Walker, right?
Yep.
But he's called the Night King,
right?
Because he married a female White Walker,
right?
And took over the Night Fort. So he couldn't have been the first one. It's impossible. And they even put that in the bonus material on the DVDs,
right?
And then they just altered it because they wanted, Darth Maul as a villain or something, right?
Right. True, man. I didn't think about that. Okay, so Bad Takes Bojan has deep knowledge of Crypts, probably from that, gangster hospital she worked at. No new bodies should be near. You don't want to pass by decaying flesh on the way to bury newer bodies. I mean, they're in tombs. I just always would assume you would dig deeper, but the older ones would be the first ones you bury, and then you're like, oh shit, our family keeps growing. Let's go deeper. I don't know. That's me personally. Who agrees? Yeah, the 13th Lord Commander was the Night's King. So
Yeah.
He goes on to say the best part of it all, I think Gurm clued us into things from the very beginning. In a Game of Thrones Bran 4, Bran and Old Nan have their interesting exchange about the crows. We said that before. It was just a lie, he said bitterly, remembering the crow from his dream. I can't fly. I can't even run. Old Nan agreed from the chair where she sat, doing her needlework. I know a story about a crow. I don't want any more stories. Bran snapped, his voice petulant. He had liked Old Nan and her stories once before, but it was different now. They left her with him all day now to watch over him and clean him and keep him from being lonely, but she just made it worse. I hate your stupid stories. The old woman smiled at him toothlessly. My stories? No, my little lord, not mine. The stories are before me and after me, before you too.
Which is a weird thing.
Yeah, weird.
It's a weird way to say it.
Yeah. Like the stories are before me. Yeah, I get that. And after me.
Yeah, but before you too.
Like,
because Bran is younger.
Right, but the way she says that, he is way older. You know what I mean? Like the way she says it, it's like almost saying even before you, like great grandfather. Like it's a weird way she worded it. I don't know. Teresa, what do you think with that one statement there? Because it confuses the shit out of me.
Well, yeah, and I think that's what I was referring earlier, actually, about the stories. And then they're like, okay, let's have stories. But yeah, that stories are supernatural and they're timeless. And before you too. Yeah, it does not sound like she's talking to an older person. But I mean, technically stories are before him because they're before all of us. But yeah, it sounds like a bit of a circle of life thing she's doing there.
Yeah.
And I haven't read them.
Or maybe she's talking to something she thinks has possessed Bran.
Oh.
Like the other presence in him.
Now that would make sense.
I don't know.
No, man, that's wow. And almost like she's talking to the crow. Like, crows are, I skipped the part where she says crows are liars. I know a story about a crow. Like, she's making sure he doesn't listen to it.
Oh.
Like she's, taking a stab at the crow, letting him know that, I know you're in there.
Yeah, she's way deeper than we all know. And none of us we don't know what happened to Old Nan. There is no body. There's nothing told about her being killed. Like, she just vanishes.
Yeah. You know what? It would be cool if she never comes back. Like, she's just vanished. Like yeah.
Or she shows up somewhere freaking random. Like Bravos. Like some old lady.
Am I correct? Because I haven't read the prequel books that she shows up in the Duncan Egg, or is that just a theory that she's in Duncan
That's a
Egg?
theory that the next Duncan Egg, which is the she-wolves of Winterfell, talking about a time where the men were either dead or very young and the women kind of ruled. She enters the scene there, we believe, to be a milk mother for, she says in her, and that's another thing, the quote where she talks about how she, how long she's been there. She doesn't remember the Brandon she was, like, who the Brandon was she was first there for, because there's been multiple Brandons that she cared for. But could it be like she realizes that this Brandon is a Brandon from long ago too? Like, there is a chance he is some, like, with the Weirwood net, able to, I don't know, not in a way possess, because we saw him do it with Hodor in the present. What's to say he can't possess a Stark from the past, or like something weird like that. I don't know.
Yeah. Now, is there anything in the lore about reincarnation? I honestly don't know because
I don't think so.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't. There's the idea of, returning to, but I don't know, coming back from type thing. Like returning to the earth, returning. I don't know about reincarnation, but there could be. Shane might know.
They do say that the old powers are returning.
Yeah, that is something they say. And Shane said, George said she is alive at the Dread Fort, but not in good condition. Well, the Dread Fort was taken over by the Ironman or the Ironborn.
Isn't that where Stannis sends his wife?
Oh yeah, wait a minute. Maybe I'm thinking of the wrong thing. I'm thinking of Kate I'm thinking of the neck.
Yeah. Well, the old Nan might be that one lady from is it the second Duncan Egg story? Because there's a big theory about that.
Yeah, I mean the one where he's with one of the guys who was supporting the blacks.
Yeah.
Right, the Blackfires. That's that story, right? The second one, or is that how many novellas are there now? There are 3 already.
Yeah, 3.
Okay, yeah. One of them is they overthrow like a Blackfire rebellion before it even happens. Osmond, I think the family's name is. Yeah, I don't know. She could have been the one that lived next door.
Because she had a crush on Dunk, so maybe she went north. I don't know, but actually, I think it was you who said it on a stream that she fit the bill.
She did fit the bill. I mean, the way they explained her, I thought she did, but I don't know. I'm waiting again. There's certain things that have to come out, and I just give me another Duncan Egg and give me the Winds of Winter, and we can solve it. I really believe we can solve it with like the Winds of Winter. I can figure out the ending. Just give me that one more book, just please, George. Just to really clear this one up quick. George is the type that will, subvert your expectations or whatever. So the trope that the old sage master finds his successor in a broken boy turned hero is something that George would play with. So the guy says, let's also consider that I'm sorry, I keep banging my microphone. Let's also consider that Bloodraven was the king's hand before he went north, was a reputed sorcerer?
Reputed.
Oh, reputed. Thank you. And had the moniker 1,000 Eyes in One during his time at court. It would not be hard for such a man, especially while connected to the Weirnet, to pull the right strings and manipulate Bran into coming north. Bloodraven set Bran up to feel vulnerable and weak, and then played on those weaknesses to bring him north. I see it happening like this. So this is his idea. Bran is a boy who loves stories of the Age of Heroes. He and his siblings conveniently stumble on the direwolves south of the wall, which, again, if you don't know the story, they haven't seen direwolves for hundreds of years south of the wall.
And question, how the fuck did they get past the wall?
Yeah, I'm still trying to figure that one out.
Yeah, because it's not like they're going to climb the wall.
Someone had to let them through the wall.
Yeah, but and then those wolves would have to get to the Starks, so it's kind of.
Well, let's not forget all crows are liars. So who's to say the Watch isn't helping Bloodraven, one of their Lord Commanders?
Well, it looks like Aemon's Maester Aemon. He went up there after Bloodred and did, and they're related.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Shane said that woman in the Duncan Age, she married into the Lannisters. Eventually, she just disappears out of history. That's the Weber girl. Yeah. So, oh yeah, that's the Dreadfort. Bolton's. That was the Bolton's castle.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So that's not a good place to be.
No, she might get skinned.
Yeah. Yeah, but the idea that those wolves somehow miraculously were found and they're just the right number, one for each Stark, and Jon is a Stark. I hate when they don't do that. Plus Jon. Bran's warging abilities are soon awakened. Sadly, Bran falls from the tower, destroying his legs and dreams of being a great knight. Remember, there were crows watching him very closely during his fateful climb. Yep, right. He falls into a coma somewhere between life and death, and it is this state that allows Bloodraven to finally influence his dreams. Bran is demoralized by his condition, but takes solace in the freedom he feels during his wolf dreams and wonder about the bizarre dreams about flying. And that's where he gets them. Like, you're not just going to walk again. You're going to fly. Then he visit the visit by Jojen, who himself has dreams where a three-eyed crow telling him how important Bran is. Jojen, who cannot distinguish between his prophetic green dreams and those received from Bloodraven, tells Bran that he is special and that his destiny is beyond the wall. Remember Jojen, who was...
right there, his destiny is beyond the wall.
Beyond the wall.
Not to sit on the fucking throne.
Right.
Yeah, Bran's story is all about the North.
Yeah.
He might be king of Westeros through that damn Weirwood network, though.
Yeah, he might control Westeros.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In a sense, but yeah.
Yeah. It's just, this guy sets it up pretty well. Like, you take this, you cause this kid, the accident that somehow I don't know, maybe he had something to do with it, but if not even that, he found his, okay, the kid fell, broke his back, I'm in. He's in a coma. Finally, I can get in. And let's not forget, we here on our channel, we believe, Stig and I have talked about it many times, that Bloodraven has had other people he's tried to fit this role that Bran is filling now. Euron Greyjoy is one of them. Euron Greyjoy
and Patchface.
Yeah, and Patchface. There's quite a few that we believe he tried to turn into his successor, whatever he is creating, and those were failed ones.
Maybe Jojen.
Jojen. If not, Jojen is definitely, his whole job was to just get Bran there, and you see him fall apart after he does it, which is sad. And he does, the thing with Bran, I mean, we've never heard a blue-eyed Greenseer. They have always been green and some have red. Always been green and some have had red. We don't even know if, I don't even know if Bloodraven was a Greenseer. He was just a wizard.
He did have a red eye.
He did have red eyes. Don't get me wrong, but he wasn't sickly, and his life has been extended for so long. Like, Greenseers die young. They're weak. They're sick. He is not that. He just is an albino who is a magician, and I think, maybe he falls for whatever got him to leave, the wall, and stay out there in that cave. I don't know. There's some, the children of the forest are manipulating everything. And
I still think Bran is based on Fenris from Norse mythology, because Fenris gets chained by its hind legs by the god Tyr. Tyr later loses a hand. Bran is paralyzed from the waist down. The guy who paralyzes him loses a hand because that's Jaime.
Yeah.
And Fenris is one of the children of Loki. Loki, as it happens, is chained up in a cave. Breaks out right before Ragnarok. That's what sets it off. So Bloodraven, Loki, trickery, right?
Yeah.
Also associated with crows and ravens, by the way. And fire. He's the god of fire and trickery.
Oh my God, he definitely took a huge part from Norse mythology, more than I thought.
Yeah, basically, right before Ragnarok kicks in, there's wars, there's famine, there's brothers killing brothers, there's patricide.
Yeah.
All that has happened in the Game of Thrones part of the story.
Yep.
Because that's the period of strife that leads into Ragnarok, which is a long night.
Right. Right. So crazy. So
where and incidentally, where frost and fire giants attack Asgard and mankind. So White Walkers and dragons.
Yeah.
Song of Ice and Fire. A song is harmony, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
They're not opposed, so it's fire and ice together.
Yeah, it's yin and yang, really, right?
Yeah.
It's kind of that flow.
Yeah.
There is some really this guy adds on, like he edits this thing and adds a couple extra stuff. It's really pretty this guy really thought this out. I give him a lot of credit. He talks also about the what is that? The shade of the evening, where they use, it's a black tree with blue leaves. That to me is like the counter to the weirwoods, and the shade of the evening always gets like a bad rap. But who after failing to be one of the weirwood children of Bloodraven turns to the shade of the evening? Euron Greyjoy. He starts drinking that to connect to something, deeper in this world. Like everyone's like, oh, that just makes you trip balls. But he has found, like, this guy is constantly on it where his lips are purple. Like, I'm wondering if he found his own way into the net to, is Euron even that evil? I don't know. He might be crazy, but is he actually trying to fight?
No, he's evil.
Okay. I tried.
What he did to the brother.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
You know what else though? When Bran has that vision that he's flying and he sees what's in the far north, he sees a bunch of other dreamers that he calls them that are impaled on ice spikes.
Oh yeah, dude. That's
so right. Maybe that's the ones that failed.
Yeah, I forgot about that. Yeah, he does see them.
Because that's kind of, why would a bunch of random people be impaled on ice spikes in the north? Where the heck did they get them? Because he doesn't describe them as wildlings or anything like that. They're described as dreamers.
Right.
So if Bran fucks up in the dream, he'll end up on one of those in a way.
Yep. Done.
That's what happened when you land instead of flying.
Yeah. So we're going to probably close it sooner than usual. It's already 1:20. What am I talking about? Because I did want to touch on the idea of the connection between Ned and Starfall, the Danes. Dawn, the sword Dawn, he returns that. Okay. He makes sure to bring that back to Starfall. That's one of the first things he does. No matter if Arthur Dane's alive or dead, he returns that sword with a newborn child, at least one of them. There may be two. Howland Reed. Is it just the three of them? Or, like the babies and those two guys? Like, how do you get all the way down there? First off, they must have got milk from somewhere. But anyways, like, instead of like trying to get these kids to safety up in the north, or John up to the north, you go there to drop a sword off that you could have sent somebody else. That sword is connected to the Starks. Just as the Starks need to be in Winterfell, a Stark has to be in Winterfell. Dawn has to be in Starfall, because that is one of the farthest places south you could be from the great others, from the others.
Well, you know what else though? It was just a thought I had the other day. The name Dawn.
Yeah.
What would defeat a long night? That would be dawn. When dawn happens.
Yep.
There's no the night is over.
Yep.
And so dawn, in a sense, is light bringer, brings light.
Yeah, it has to be is it the original ice? Is that the original? Because isn't Dawn a great sword?
Yeah.
And isn't ice supposedly a massive great sword?
Yeah. Well, Ned had ice, and Arthur Dayne had Dawn.
Yeah, but that's not the original ice. The original ice was lost, and they had a Valyrian steel one created to replace it. So that ice isn't as old as the original ice from the Stark line. Somehow it was lost in history.
So it could be someone actually has it, and they don't even know it.
Right. Somebody could either have it. There are a couple people that try to figure out which sword could be Dawn, and they're always pointing at Valyrian steel, and everyone's like, oh yeah, it can't be Dawn because Dawn, the story, it fell from the sky, they followed the meteor and they found this special metal and they made Dawn. But who's to say that's the true story? You know what I mean? Like, they were fighting the longest winter they've ever had. Generations, babes were born and died without seeing sunlight. Like, lived generations without seeing sunlight. This thing didn't just last one episode.
Yeah, which is kind of weird because in the show that was just like a few hours.
Yeah, it wasn't even that. It was like
winter lasted for a few hours. That's like
ridiculous. It was the worst. Oh, we could go on for hours.
Which means the whole ecosystem on the planet is fucked.
Yeah. And George has said that the seasons are magical and something did cause that. Now, is it the long night that caused it? There's some great theories out there that the meteors that came down, the so-called the moon that got too close to the sun and cracked and dragons were born that way. Those meteors are what Dawn came from. It's part of one of the fragments of the moon. Others say it could be part of the Black Stone. I don't know, but I have a feeling that Starfall, where Dawn was found and molded into the great sword it is now, and it has all these different capabilities, just like a Valyrian steel. I think it might be the original ice, and that after the defeat of the others and spring being, winter falling and spring coming, they actually made a pact with one of the only first men families still down south. And they said, like, you need to keep this sword far away from winter, just as far as possible. And really, Starfall is one of the farthest points south. So I think that's where they're protecting, but no one remembers. Maybe nobody remembers. I don't know. But the idea that Ned brought that sword all the way back there before taking a newborn back north because he needed a milkmaiden to drop off a sword. Like, he could have found one somewhere else, but he found people he trusts.
If the idea is to keep Dawn as far from the north as possible, that might be why Mance Raider left it. If he's Arthur Dayne, if he went north, it's like, yeah, can't bring the sword. Yeah, maybe. Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, maybe like Howland Reed might know because he is said to be a Greenseer. He was at the Isle of Faces. Who's to say he didn't connect with the Weirwood net and was able to see this during the pact, what they decided to do with the sword. So he was like, no, we got to take this first back down there. No matter if, Arthur Dayne lived or died, we have to bring that sword back because we cannot have this going anywhere north of here.
Yeah.
It's an interesting theory that I'm going to work on more. I'm going to try to figure that one out. We did have some comments on and guys, after the show, please come back and comment on YouTube, especially because it helps with even if you just put comment, it helps with the algorithm. But we had some really good questions and people saying giving us props for last show, but also wanting us to do the Tower of Joy again once I have all the quotes down again that we were going to reference. And we will do that at some point. But next week we are going to start our Fire and Blood reread. We're going to start with the first 4 chapters. So if you guys want to be able to do that with us, you start with Aegon's Conquest, and the last chapter you'll read is the Sons of the Dragons, I believe. So I think it's about 106 pages. It's before the rise of Jaharis or that chapter. I know Miss Martin Muses has been ready for this one, so
yeah, I
I'm
finally
excited.
have my moment. I've studied this freaking stuff like a history thing.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like a big volume. So,
Yep.
I, to be honest, so far I'm enjoying Fire and Blood more than the actual books, maybe because it is fun. I like fake histories. So,
Well, same here.
Yeah. And I like the way there's different sources because that's the way history is. And yeah, so I've got all my notes and everything ready to go.
I mean, anybody who, you don't have to like George R. R. Martin, but you cannot tell me he's not an interesting writer. The way he writes a history book where it's like you have to take into fact, who is this person writing this book? Who are they writing it for? So then you could see why the way they skew it towards, like, is it writing it for Targaryen King or are they writing it for Robert Baratheon? Because the person will write it skewed towards that person's beliefs. I mean, it's unbelievable. So I bought this. This is the original one I got, Fire and Blood. And then this is the Rise of the Dragon. All it is the illustrated version. And it's freaking gorgeous. And I'll be reading that. To catch back up. I want to look at the pictures, so I might do a giveaway with this one. Maybe we'll do something with that. I'll try to figure something out during our streams, even though I still owe the lovely
You know what you should do?
Tina. Yep.
Put like Nutella or something on your fingers and smear it on a couple of pages.
Yeah.
And then do a giveaway.
Here's your pink eye, bro.
Oh no.
Here's your shit-stained book, motherfucker.
Well,
I read it in the bathroom.
See, I couldn't give any of mine away because as Steve will just be so happy to hear. I've written all over it with all colors and things.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
She writes in books. That's a travesty.
Well,
yeah.
So he says, well, I'll tell you what, and I will never judge anyone for what they spend money on.
No,
because you spend money on what you want to spend money on, and I spend money all the time on things that I'm being told I'm not supposed to. However, George R. R. Martin's not getting a friggin' penny from me. That's my personal opinion. So all of these I have gotten secondhand at thrift stores. I'm not gonna give him a penny till he gives us the next book. So. Yeah.
I said that too, and then I bought this one.
Yeah, well, that one's actually at the half price store. So
yeah, that's why
you can do it. But no, I will never judge anybody. I will never judge anyone. And I've watched House of the Dragon. I give people ratings. I give Rings of Power ratings. It just is what it is because life is too short to try to nickel and dime where you're spending your pennies. But this is one thing I have remained firm on. So I have been buying all of these secondhand.
I say amen to that.
Well,
and it's amazing.
George hasn't really done anything. George hasn't even done anything wrong, though. It's just fucking slow.
Yeah.
It's not like, Disney or Wizards of the Coast, making everyone lesbian or pissing on
That's very true, man. You know what? Valid point. I mean, he's so slow that he might literally miss the entire, from 2016 to whatever, it's just starting to end. The idea that they were going to change everybody and they realized that didn't sell. He might miss that whole thing because he took so long to write his book, that where everyone was like, he's just not putting it out because he's scared he's going to be canceled. And that was always bullshit. Like, no way he cared. The dude,
he's not afraid of being canceled.
Not at all.
I saw a clip where he was owning a damn feminist crazy lady.
Yep. Yeah. Dude,
well, but this is where I will judge him. I will judge him not necessarily for being late, but I will judge him for being unkind and taunting his fans.
Amen.
Over it. That's where I judge him.
And that's newer too, and that's what pisses me off. He was doing so well, just saying, sorry, guys, I don't have it out. That's all you had. Look, people are just venting, George, because they love what you do so much that they're getting I just want the books. Like Jane and I used to we're going to get the books. We're going to get the books. We're going to get the books, and it sucks that we haven't gotten it yet. But for him to then turn on us in the recent year or so, it's just, George, shut up. You're the rich one. Be quiet.
Yeah, the golden rule of anything:
Yeah.
never crap on your customers.
Right.
Crap in private, maybe with your friends and in a safe place, but never crap on the people that are giving you money.
Yeah.
End of story.
That's it. I mean, that's business, right? Capitalism 101. The customer is always right. Right? I mean,
yeah. And even if they're not right, you treat them well because they're giving you money. End of story.
Yeah. Well, this is, the opposite of what Hollywood's been doing. They'll attack fans before the movies are even out.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
The worst publicity strategy ever.
Like, this movie's not for you, and then okay, you don't show up, and then you get bashed for being racist for not watching the movie they told us not to watch.
Yeah,
exactly. Why didn't you show up? It's like, well, you told us not to.
Can I ask a question? We're all completely on this topic, but off, Song of Ice and Fire topic. That Snow White remake, did that get canceled?
It got delayed for more than a year.
Amen.
You know what that means.
Yep.
So it means the winds of winter and Snow White's been delayed too.
Yeah, right. Snow White's, Jesus.
They're going to lose so much money because I interpreted that as those people are remaking the whole freaking movie.
Yeah, that girl screwed them.
Yeah.
They felt entitled.
She's now the best action star too. Didn't you see that?
What?
She won an award for best action star of 2023 or something. So she beat Keanu Reeves and Tom Cruise.
Yeah.
Wait a minute. I knew she was in something where she was like supposed to be a bad princess, but was a good one or something like that.
Yeah,
it was from the Songbird of Ice and Fake, Song of Snakes, the Hunger Games prequel, which, as most people said, she spent most of it singing, anyways. So
yeah.
So singing is violence in action now.
Yeah.
She's a better action hero than Tom Cruise. And
Cruise, Keanu Reeves. Come on. Oh my God, people. You know what I find funny? I was watching The Two Towers the other day, and oh God, I watch those like constantly, like throughout the year. It was one of the Two Towers is Empire. You know what I mean? Like it's one of the greatest second sequel like movies of all time, and I don't think it gets the props it should. It is such a good movie about despair and hope and all that good stuff. And I know it diverges from the books, but I still love it for what it is. And the CGI, is how old now?
22 years.
20,
it came out in 2002.
Yeah. The CGI in that is incredibly holds up compared to the crap we got in like Ant-Man and the Wasp, that newer one.
You know why?
Because they took their time.
No. Well, that too, but they used CGI as makeup for the story, while today they use CGI as Botox for movies. It's CGI everywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
now watch me. Oh, sorry.
Yeah. No. Go ahead.
I was going to say, watch me bring it full circle. Be ready to be awed. Okay. Because remember, there are lots of tributes that George R.R. Martin puts into his works to Tolkien and many other things as well. And the use of the towers. Yeah. So just thought, man. Yeah.
Valid point. The towers. I mean, the towers are important. Yeah. There's always another tower to defeat.
You have Oaken Shield.
Oaken Shield.
Yeah, the way they're connected.
Yep.
Sam.
Yeah, Sam is Sam Ganji. You got to.
Yeah, a little bit.
Samwise, a fat companion to the hero. And we all knew it right away.
Yeah. That was so great. Brahma Bull, I love you, man. It's good to see you. I didn't really. It was a People's Choice Award, so yeah, she probably had like bots
bots.
Unlimited voting for her.
Probably her publicist did it.
Or they probably
but still, it just shows
it.
you that how everything is just skewed, and it's all an image. It's all a mirage. We're all being manipulated.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's basically a product being created in a lab, and artificially boosted by shill media and Hollywood, so they can have like another great actor that will draw money to the cinemas.
Well, they do that sometimes. They try to make somebody like they think Hollywood just thinks this person is, the next it person, and it's like, no, she's not.
Jennifer Lawrence, right? She was one of Harvey's harem, and what happened when Harvey got arrested? She's gone. She's not in anything big at all anymore.
I gotta say, I like her acting, but it's like when she opens her mouth outside of it.
Yeah.
Oh, that sounds kind of bad with talking about Harvey. But
with
she's just you know what I mean.
Yeah, that was too much to swallow. So quite a mouthful there, Spork.
Here we go. Look what you've done. Well, but here's the thing. At least with Jennifer Lawrence, you can say that she's a pretty decent actress, and the things that she starred in brought in money. Yes. Rachel Zegler has now been put forward and shoved down everyone's throats in 4 movies now. All of them flops. I mean, you can't even say that she's made anyone money.
Yeah, no, I don't.
Every single one of them.
It's weird.
She got cocky right from the first minute.
Yes.
She was like, "Okay, I made it now. I'm big. I can say whatever I want."
Yeah, and you can tell like in the interviews with her and Gal Gadot, like she's like trying to help her kind of wiggle through it, but then she's just like, I'm just not going to talk now and let this girl, like pretty much say she hated Disney because they were sexist and racist from the beginning. Snow White. Yeah, I love it. Snow White, doesn't need to be saved by a man. Like, kind of had to, and he was, he's a stalker. No, he wasn't. Like,
and when you think about one of the great marketing ploys that Disney's did back for the past 20 years has been the whole Disney princesses trio. Remember, it was Cinderella, Snow White, and Belle. Remember, they were everywhere. It's like the Disney princesses. And I'm like, girl, you just tore down one of the major marketing money-making things of even now. You'll go, they're on napkins, the three of them. It's still a thing that's working 20 years later, and you're sitting there saying, I guess we don't need to be buying those anymore. Cinderella, Snow White sucks.
It's such a big market. Like you have to fit so many different criteria to be considered a Disney princess. Like Moana is not a Disney princess because it's not a one-piece dress or some shit. Like someone did a video about it and I was like, I caught it. I'm like, what? Like these people put so much into the Disney princess line when the guy, I forgot his name, created it. He noticed girls dressed up as princesses, but none of them were like bought, sold through Disney. And he was like, why are we missing out on this? And then you have this girl like bombing it. Like,
it was great.
Scotty, who's your favorite Disney princess?
Oh, that's Jasmine. And she doesn't wear a one piece either, but man, Jasmine's hot.
I'm on Team Belle.
I was about ready to say there's only one answer, Scotty. You're canceled. Belle forever.
Yeah, like look at the dude.
I mean, heck, Gaston got the Nobel Award for it.
Oh, yeah. I guess Belle would give you a chance if you're not like Mr. Dreamboat. I don't. There's something about Jasmine though,
that's okay.
A little frisky. A little frisky. And I feel like she's also older. Even when I was younger, she felt like an older woman, where all the rest feel like, Cinderella and them, they felt older just because it was old, but like Moana seems so young, Belle kind of young. I just, Jasmine seems like, I gotta.
She has a tiger.
Lamp you can rub.
Rub my lamp, Jasmine, and
I'll give you 3.
I'd give you 3 splishes.
Oh no! See,
there goes the advertising. I love it. Screw you, YouTube. That was awesome. All right, I got to get up for work tomorrow. Oh, there he is. Biggles met. Hopefully this, like I was going to say, this Wednesday, I'm hoping we're going to discuss some anime. But the new schedule is Monday night. Oh, not this Wednesday. I'm sorry. I'm on the Dark Council tomorrow night. What I meant to say is next Wednesday, Biggles and I are going to start. We're going to lock down which shows to cover next week, or just maybe Isekai in general, because I love Isekai. But it's going to be now Monday nights will be this show, A Spork of Ice and Fire, then our anime Spork, and then on Wednesdays, and then following that on Saturdays will be Aluminum Spork, hopefully with the Saturday crew, talking news of the weird, conspiracies, ancient lost histories, aliens, all that good stuff. Kind of getting away from, sick of Hollywood. So like to do other things that I enjoy on this channel, and hopefully you'll follow me with that. So yeah, Biggles is the man. And we will be, he says, I have just been watching like all the isekai I can, because he knows that's what I watch. I'm telling you, that healing one I told you about, cover it.
Yep. Biggles just got 300 subs.
Yeah, I saw that, man. Congrats. And I know you sent me a link to be on, I think it was the other night. I apologize. I've been sick as a dog, just getting over pink eye. So I appreciate everything. Yeah, being sick and having your eyes gooped up at the same times is terrible, dude. Terrible. Yeah, the vending machine one did not suck. Jerk. Anyways, so Miss Martin Muses, who is over 1,000 subs.
Thank you.
Let them know where they can find you.
You can find me here on YouTube, Miss Martin Muses, where I talk about what makes me laugh, makes me cry, makes me happy, makes me sad, or just really, really ticks me off. And we've got some content coming up. We're going to be talking about malignant narcissists. Be careful of those. They're the worst kind. Borderline psychopaths.
Cancer.
And a lot more Irish content. A pub crawl we did have our season finale. So night 5 will be continuing at a unforeseen date. I need to be sorting some things out in the world, but please, if you like interviews and pub crawl, go ahead and check out the playlist there. And lots of Irish lore coming up today. We did talk with Irish history and I guess that's basically where you see me here sometimes on Nina Infinities for her Sunday night hangs.
Yeah, she's a sweetheart, Nina. I haven't been on that channel in a while. We'll have to do. Hopefully, she'll want to do something again. Maybe talk Dune. Also, if you guys go to Teresa's channel and play her playlists, just play it, and that helps her with watch hours. And that's what we do to help people to get that first one through. Just hit a playlist and let it go, that's what I'm going to do after this myself. So. Thank you for being here as always. And sorry we didn't do Fire and Blood this week, but we are doing Fire and Blood next week. So Yay. Get pumped, people. Stig, sir, you have anything?
Yes, tomorrow. Okay. I have my monthly with Jade Shadow tomorrow.
He's having his
We're doing it's a show called The Good, the Fun, and the Weird, where we just talk about fun stuff that happened in the news lately, weird, bizarre things. And then we poke fun at it.
That's always a good time.
Yeah, we figured why not talk about fun stuff in the news rather than all the retarded shit.
Yeah, I'm with you on that, dude.
Yeah.
I'm with you on that.
Yeah. So we do that once per month. And we do a top 10 movie thing once per month. So that's pretty much the only regular thing I'm on YouTube now. Yeah. I'll pop on here if I'm awake.
Yeah, I appreciate it.
Sleep schedule is a factor.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that's it.
Well, thank you, my brother. I really appreciate you staying up tonight. We will be doing the Fire and Blood next week, so love to have you there too. But it might just be me and Miss Martin Muses. I'm good with that.
I'll definitely read it though. Now that I know how far I have to read.
Yeah. Those first 4 chapters, or whatever he calls them. That'll be fun, guys. Make sure you can probably find it online, guys. You might even be able to find it on YouTube. Just listen to it. but yeah, the first 4 chapters, the last chapter is like the Sons of the Dragon, which is a very interesting part of Targaryen history. So definitely check that out. And we will see you guys next week. So I hope you all have a great one. Thank you to everybody who stopped by tonight. I appreciate you guys. Thank you for supporting the channel. We are just going backwards in numbers, but I really don't care. I'm having a ball. So thank you guys for being who you are. And we will see you guys all next week. Thank you.
All right.
Take care of me well.
Peace. That's just too loud to go out on. So we're just going to go out saying goodbye, you all, and take care.